Okay, so well, first of all, love the show, of course. I'm one of these people who I haven't watched every single season. Like I saw it in the beginning, and then now I'm kind of catching up. And the beauty of the show is that you can still appreciate it,
Mm.
even know wherever the narrative is. Do you find a lot of fans? Can anyone want to comment on that? Are like me, where we just watch it. We can really watch any episode and enjoy it without following the storyline.
I think there's a lot of fans like you, Lena. I think there's also a lot of fans that have watched the show in its entirety 12 times. You get a lot of tweets and posts and stuff. People, before a new season comes out, they plan on rewatching every single episode before the new season comes out. So I'm
Mhm.
sure there's folks like you, and it's nice that people can pop in episode at a time and still enjoy the show and understand the characters and things. But I think a lot of our fans have seen the episodes more than once.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm now catching up and it's all becoming, it's filling up, I'm
Mhm.
getting it now. And I'm noticing that the dynamics between you guys, the chemistry, it's more, I don't know, intense. I really like that. Let's just talk real specifically about each of your characters. Since I thought I had 15 minutes. I have all these deep questions.
We can talk
Um,
fast.
We'll do it. We
yeah,
can talk fast.
okay, so right, you guys could talk fast, right? So
Oh, you
first of
know
all,
it.
we gotta talk about the dialogue. It's amazing. How do you guys? I have to know. How do you memorize it all?
Rehearse 8,000 times. Tyler likes to say, let's do the lines 400 times. That's sort of something we do. We get together the night before and many nights before that, but we really hammer them home. Like every single time we get a new script, we memorize every single word in that script so that we can mess around afterwards. But for the most part, we put in the hard work.
It's lots of work.
Initially,
You
yeah.
have to like look up. I mean, do you even understand every single word that's written?
No,
I don't understand 50% of them.
no. And especially when there are obscure band references, like how many
Yeah,
obscure bands do you expect me to know?
yeah.
Oh, a few of them.
Well, actually, on that note, I think that the alternate, because of the way you guys dress and everything, I bet that you have a huge fan base with the alternative, like goth punk culture. Have you noticed that to be the case?
Some. I think we have some fans in the, I would call, we'll refer to them as misfit culture, because I feel like specifically, I feel like if you're a goth punk, you're probably like, fuck these guys, because that's the whole point.
Right.
But as far as like, there are a lot of people out there who don't necessarily know what group they fit into, but they might like the skids, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whereas the hockey players tend to like the hockey players, Hicks tend to like
Got
the
it.
Hicks.
Got it.
Tends to work out
Melanie,
that way.
oh, awesome. Melanie, I want to get a question for you in there because I love the empowerment that women, the way women are portrayed, like it's really unapologetic and really just like they say and do what they want. I really like seeing that. Do you have a comment on that and your character, with
Uh,
that?
I love the word cunt, and I love that like sometimes people recoil. I love that I get to play on a show where I can just, speak the language that I speak without repercussions, and because like sometimes ladylike is not for everyone, and so whatever that means, so it's nice on Letterkenny to be able to just use the words we want to use and not get slapped on the hand for it.
Right. Well, let me ask you guys all this since I probably only have like a minute left because I think it's interesting. One of the things I love about Letterkenny is it's like so fearless in the writing that, with PC culture nowadays and people getting offended, like it's just equal opportunity offensive, which I love. How do you guys feel about that? And has there been anything written that you don't have to tell me specifically necessarily, but that was written that you guys went, maybe this is going too far, like crossing that line?
I don't think there's ever been anything written in that respect, just because I think Letterkenny at its heart is a very accepting show. And I think that just because we say and do whatever we want, it all comes from a place of like embracing all types of people and being respectful of people and their individual everythings. Like I feel like Tyler, you speak very well on this topic, but yeah.
Tyler, what do you want to say about that? About, the things that you guys talk about? I mean, a lot of the way it's written, there are things that I'm like, wow, they went there,
Mhm.
and do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, just like kind of what you said, Lena. It's we go there with everything. We try not to generalize. We try not to discriminate against any sort of person or peoples. Everyone's fair game. But if anyone steps into our little city from outside of Letterkenny and picks on any of the town folk, then the town folk will then turn on that individual. So we pick on each other the whole time, but we are extremely supportive of each other the entire time as well. Like Evan's character, Roald, admitted he was gay the first episode after people were, poking fun at this Grinder app. And we felt like that was a very important thing to establish right away. He's gay, but no one cares. Katie was dating 2 men at the same time in the first couple episodes, and no one really said anything about that in any sort of derogatory manner. She could just live her life and date 2 men at the same time because both of those men were okay with the situation. So
yeah,
Letterkenny's a place for everybody. And as the series continues to grow, we find more and more voices are entering the Letterkenny atmosphere, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? I'm in LA. I don't know. You guys are all actors, so I don't know if you've been here in LA for different roles and things like that. Have you come out to LA for auditions and things like that? All of you?
Oh yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, LA is just one of those places that everyone kind of, if you're an actor, you go to at some point in your career, in your life, to either do the pilot season thing or all that sort of stuff.
You like it?
You like LA? I feel like we probably all have different feelings about LA. My personal feelings about LA is that I think it's a very beautiful place, and I really do enjoy being there for 2-3 months of the year. But I love, like, I could never leave Toronto. Like, I think Toronto's the best city on earth. So I can't leave. I can't leave this place.
Permanently. Yeah. What do you think that in general the show says to people like us in a big, busy, crazy city like LA? Watch about small towns, actually, like for literally, and in a more sort of humorous way.
Well, I think a city like LA, you got a lot of folks coming from all sorts of places, all cities and countries. They all sort of gravitate towards Los Angeles. And I think no matter what city you're from, whether it's a small town, Idaho or Ohio or wherever you're at, you can relate to the farm people, or like if it's not a hockey player, it might be a baseball player or a tennis player or a synchronized swimmer that is running.
Synchronized swimmers, always chirping people.
Everyone can relate to these people, whether it's a direct relation. I grew up about 30 minutes out of Vancouver, so I did not have this Canadian experience that's depicted in Letterkenny. Okay. I grew up in a large suburb, but once you get to Sudbury, you realize that this does exist, and Sudbury lends a hand to our show in a big way.
That's awesome. It looks like I have a couple. I did have a little bit more. I did have 10 minutes. Okay. So how would you like to see each of your characters evolve? We're into season 10 now. I think it's really interesting to see how you guys have evolved thus far. And what do you see for the future each?
Well, I'm thinking maybe we'll take this VidVoc dance crew and maybe we'll just form a boy band.
Yeah, let's do it.
And maybe I'll sing, Evan will sing, maybe Connor and Darian will play, other instruments. Maybe we'll just
kazoo, probably something stupid.
Yeah. We'll tour the world and the galaxies beyond. And I can only see it going one way.
Mm-hmm. This is like band number 3 for us. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, right, that's
what happens sometimes. It's not the first band that hits.
Melanie, what about you?
It would be interesting maybe if Mrs. McMurray got like a government job or something really kind of beige and see what she does with it.
Work for the CRA. I could totally see that. Doing audits.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, well now I'm like, I cut out all my questions. So I'm like, let's see what else.
You're killing it, Lina. Keep it moving.
I know, no. The 5-minute thing just threw me off my game here. What have been the biggest challenges doing this show for each of you?
Having too much fun. I feel like the real challenges of the show are just like maybe it's the time in between. Like sometimes, on a television show, generally, if it's going to be 8 episodes, 6 episodes, you work 6 months of the year. On Letterkenny, you work 1. So you go a full 11 months without seeing each other and kind of waiting to hear if you're going to do that next season. It's quite a bit of time to wait in between seasons till you get to go back to summer camp and work again. That's just my own personal experience with like something that's been in my mind. Like, oh, when are we going to go back to work? Like,
look forward to it.
Yeah.
Tyler?
The question was, what was the most difficult thing about filming?
Yeah, like challenges, in just doing the show in general.
Well, memorization was is a challenge. It's a challenge that I embrace and I'm okay with, but memorization has been very, very much a part of this show. We have so much dialogue and, like we mentioned, words that I've never used before in my vocabulary. So it's memorization is a big challenge for every character on the show, I'd say. We got lots of words. Sometimes we'll do like 17-page days, 18-page days, which is nearly an entire episode of television. So if you don't know your words, you are going to kind of mess up the whole vibe of the set and the cast and the crew. So memorization is probably the biggest challenge for me on this show.
Yeah. Melanie, same?
Yeah, I second that. Well, I just because you're so aware of the standard the bar has been set so high. So you just don't want to let anybody down. You don't want to be the weak link. So you just tend to put a lot of, that's for me, is putting pressure on myself to like learn every single syllable perfectly so that then, like you guys said earlier, you can toss it and play.
Yeah. Well, you guys all do an amazing job. They're telling me yes, now I'm done. Thanks for your time and congratulations on this amazing show and, being a part of it.
Thanks, Lina.
Thank you.
Yeah.